Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about some sales that shockingly just happened this week. I know, who am I? Overachiever over here. We are going to talk about what sold for me on Poshmark, eBay, no Mercari, even though I still do cross list there because every now and then she gives me a good one. So my eBay and Poshmark sales from July 1st through July 14th. I will pop up the picture of exactly what sold. I'll tell you how much I paid for it, how much it sold for. And then at the very end, I actually am gonna go back in time and you're gonna pull some weekend sales with me. And if you're new here, or maybe you just haven't seen my inventory system in a while, you'll see how I store my items. All right, it hasn't been like a fabulous month, but to be honest, I haven't been listing a lot. What I do is I have been in the process of getting my entire inventory over to eBay for probably the last year. So every morning for the last month, I have been relisting and delisting 10 items on Poshmark. I haven't been put in Poshmark jail or whatever for that. I'm only doing 10. And then I'm searching on eBay to make sure those 10 items are listed. If they're not, that's when I'm going ahead and so eventually I will get through all of my items by doing that. I think right now I only have about 550 active listings, which is probably the least I've had in several years. But you know, some of the things that I'm selling are selling quickly. So anyway, let's jump in. Some of these things were not quick sales by any means. So I think that it's important. I know sometimes I do my top 25 sales for each month. That's just because I'm behind. But I think it's important to also show you not everything sells for a lot, at least not in my business. There are different seasons that I go through. Right now, I'm only listing things that are gonna sell either very quickly or for a good amount. Some of these sales were when I was just listing everything I had or was given to me or came in mystery boxes. So let's jump in. It's gonna go right here. This first sale was something I picked up at the bins. It was the brand SOL. It was a gauzy cotton linen, and it looked like it could be used for a beach cover-up, had some cute seashells on it. I don't know, I had $1.25 into it from the bins. Our bins, I believe, are $1.99 still. I haven't been, y'all, in so long. But what I do when I go to the bins is I just take my total that I spent and I divide it by how many items I purchased that day. So obviously this wasn't over a pound, but it sold on Poshmark for $17. These Converse llamas, these were my daughter's, but I know I initially got them at Once Upon a Child for around $5. They sold on eBay. When I tell you my eBay sale price, that includes shipping. I don't offer free shipping, but I record it with the shipping combined with the purchase price. So they sold for $23.66. And this next one, this is what I'm talking about. This is so old that I don't even have the date because it came when I was ordering from the company Bulk, B-U-L-Q. I don't even know if they're still in business. I was having very much success with them until I ordered a pallet and it was manifested and drama. Anyway, so I had $1.12 into this Cat and Jack new attack onesie outfit. It finally sold for $6. So hey, $1.93 was my profit. I was very happy to see that go. This was a good sale. These were a pair of Love Shack Fancy Manabee collaboration sandals. I picked these up at Goodwill for $6.48. They did take a year and a half to sell though, but it ended up being a full price sale on Poshmark. And I know I have sent out countless 40% offers. So thank you to the full price buyer who paid $96. This Disney Parks Luca dress, you guys probably didn't see me. I just picked this up like 2 weeks ago. I ran into a Once Upon a Child with my daughter one day. I had a trade of some things from her room that she wanted to look for some new little leggings for herself before she went to camp. So I did trade for this. I had about $5 of trade-in credit into it. I loved the movie Luca. I feel like it was one of those that kind of flew under the radar. I believe it came straight to Disney Plus. It was a cute movie. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. And this sold almost instantly on eBay for $21.84. I have people in my family that give me items, and I would say 85 to 95% of it goes straight to the thrift store. I donate to a local nonprofit, and I'd rather maybe find one or two pieces for free to list out of the bunch. That's what this was. This was two kind of costumey lingerie pieces, and it sold on eBay for $20. So definitely not something I would have picked up, but I will take it. It was $9.02 of pure 100% profit. And I'm going to these thrift stores anyway, so donating extra items. I've got a spot in the garage where it just kind of lives. Right, another free to me item. Y'all know by now, my mama lives right next door, and she gave me these Crocs fleece lined. She only wears Crocs, and sometimes they come in, and even though they're her size, they're just, the mold must have been off, or it's a different little, like the fleece was a little too thick, so it made it too tight. I don't know. She gave them to me for free. They sold on eBay for $28.20. Lots of free to me items in this one. So this, you guys have heard me talk about, I have done some consignments for friends. These were all Victoria's Secret pink items. I had already tried to take them to Plato's Closet twice. They were various sizes, but anywhere from extra small to medium, but they all came from this same person. I ended up fitting them, like shoving as many as I could into a priority mailbox, and I made it exactly 5 pounds. So I only listed this on Poshmark, and eventually it sold for $18. So I called it a not so mystery bundle, and it was a grandma who purchased for her granddaughter. She sent me the nicest message and said, if you ever get more bundles like this, let me know. So Victoria's Secret pink, I just have a hard time moving it by itself. Even my Plato's Style Encore, none of those stores want to buy it from me, even in great condition. These things showed a little bit of wear. So just an idea, if you've got a bundle of like items on Posh, just get out your scale, make it a 5 pound situation. If you search mystery or not so mystery on Posh, a lot of things come up. All right, another Victoria's Secret item. This was a maroon bralette. Came out of a fun box that I've had, January of 2023, approximately $5 into it, but it sold on Poshmark. Oh, I was like, why did it sell so much? It sold in a bundle, and so I have it separated. It sold also with this Cosita Linda gold bathing suit, brand new with the tags. That sold for, or that I picked up at a Style Encore. It was $11.05, really expensive brand. I've told y'all, bathing suits are hidden gems at the buy sell trade stores. Okay, so I had the bra listed at 19, the bathing suit listed at 105. At this point, I was ready to just give away the bra. I've had it for so long. They offered me $75, so I made $60. I was happy with that because that's probably what I would have offered for just the bathing suit, and that was a pretty great little sale. I finally sold the last pair of mother jeans. I found a couple pairs within a very short amount of time. Never found it before and haven't found any since. So these I picked up just this year. They were the mid-rise Dazzler Dark. These took the longest to sell out of the few pairs that I picked up. I had $12 into them from a regular Goodwill. They sold for also my full asking price. They did not wait for the offer, and I think mine is set to send offers 8 minutes after someone likes the item. I don't offer discounted shipping anymore. I just send a 20% off offer, and they paid $98. So that was fantastic because I know I have sent 30% offers on those before. This, I was surprised these took so long. The brand is Wolky, W-O-L-K-Y. They are comfort shoes. To me, I didn't find them to be very cute, but they just looked like that traditional, well, here they are, just the comfort shoe. These I picked up for $4.80 in March of 2024. They finally sold on eBay because this is one of the things that I had not cross-listed. Once I cross-listed it to eBay, it sold quickly. So I have found that a lot of the more mature brands, comfort shoes, those tend to sell better on eBay, and these sold for $53. This was an instant sale. You guys probably did see me pick these next couple things up. You probably already have heard me talk about them, maybe. The brand Albion, this is a purple bikini. I just picked this up recently when I went to Goodwill with my daughter. I had $7.55 into it that day, sold for $48 on Poshmark. Another bathing suit brand I never heard of, but if you look through bathing suits, you can just feel and see the quality. Like, you know if something is like a Shein or Walmart or Target versus like a swimwear brand. And usually it's got an embroidered brand or logo. Also, cannot believe that these two dinosaur train plush bundles, I paid $7 for like this bag of little stuffed plush at a Goodwill. I couldn't see the tags. I couldn't really tell exactly what was in it. There were 5 dinosaur train plushes. I had enough 3 of one kind and 2 of the other. The extra I gave to my son. He collects Jurassic Park and dinosaur merchandise, and Dinosaur Train was his favorite. So he has it up there with all of his Jurassic Park stuff. So the other 2, though, I had $3.50 into each bundle. It surprised me to know, let me see, like I always thought eBay didn't take as many fees as Poshmark, but the first bundle sold on Poshmark for $16. Minus my $3.50 and all the fees, I made $9.30. The next day, the other bundle sold on eBay, so also for $16, and they paid $4.50 shipping, and I want to say that was right on par with what it cost to ship, maybe even made a couple pennies. But after fees and everything, I only made $9. So both items sold for $16. I made 30 more cents on Poshmark. So I'm not sure if maybe the toys category takes a higher fee. To be honest, I don't even know what the fees are on eBay. I don't know the percentage. They have a lot of, I don't know. And I don't promote my listings, but I just found that interesting because I always thought Poshmark, yes, it's more expensive to sell on there, but I love that I can use priority mailers and all of that. So all of that to say, I made $18.30 profit on a $7 bag of plush, and those sold like within 24 hours. In my excitement over my 2 Dinosaur Train plush bundles, which I also forgot to mention that $16 was my full asking price. So they didn't even wait for the offers on those. I also made 2 sales that I just completely skipped over while I was looking at my spreadsheet. This first one was these Viore black pants. They came from that same Goodwill trip where I purchased the Albion bathing suit. I had $7 cost of goods. They sold on eBay for $58.80. I love Viore. It always flies out of my closet. Definitely a must pick up for me. Then this next was a pair of Lululemon blue shorts. I picked these up at the bins. They had a stain on them, but I thought my daughter would want them. No, Mom, I don't want them because they have a stain. Anyway, I sold them for super cheap on Posh, figuring someone would want them as a throwdown. And they did sell within 24 hours for $14. And being a bins item, my profit was $10.05. So those were 2 great little sales that I wanted to make sure I included. From Plato's again, I sold this Madewell one-piece bathing suit, new with the tags. I had $8. I know I traded items from the bins for that. Sold on Poshmark for $30. This Snow White, it wasn't real Snow White. It was like a knockoff from Amazon, a set that came with like the tiara and the little wand and this whole thing. So I had $1 into this. It was brand new in the package, came from a local sale, church sale, and sold for $14. On Amazon, I want to say they were $26 or $28. So they still got a deal, but that took me a year to sell. This ModCloth floral blazer, it's been listed since mid-April, so to me, if it sells under 90 days, that's pretty good, and this did. I had $10 into it from Goodwill, and it sold for $26, so I doubled my money. I think that was a 40% offer, but good to see it go. All right, this was a fantastic sale. This was a pair of Tory Burch black patent wedges, and I found these at a local thrift store. I ended up averaging my cost of goods that day, I know for sure. So my spreadsheet says I paid $7.50, but I know for sure I paid $3 for this pair of Tory Burch sandals. They were in brand new condition. The only thing is I think they were like a 7. They were a smaller size, but I think I listed them for like $90, and I got a couple lowball offers within like minutes of listing. So I knew that these would sell. So they ended up selling on eBay for $106, and they sold to someone here in Central Florida. So I was happy because they were going to get there quickly. It worries me shipping leather, and it's so hot here, putting things out for the mailman to come, and then, things that sit in mailboxes. So that was a 24-hour, $77 profit. All right. That is all you get to see my face for, because that took us through July 12th. So I had some pretty decent sales for me as a part-time reseller. That was great. I got a new car this week. So some of you guys follow me on Instagram. My information's down below. I post a lot in my stories there and more about my personal life, some reselling content. But finally got myself a new car. I turned 40 this year. I have had, I think, 4 cars over the course of my life. But usually we go to CarMax. I get them like a year old, and they've got a little bit of mileage. They're new to me, which is all, super grateful. But I've never had a brand spanking new car. So these sales helped me have a little down payment for that. So super happy. But I'm a weirdo and I don't like the new car smell. I've known that my whole life. So that's the only downside to getting a new car for me. But anyway, let's kick it back and see what sold that last weekend. So the 13th and 14th, and I'll meet you back here to say goodbye. All right, it has been a while since you guys have been with me in my inventory room. So this weekend I had 2 Poshmark sales, and randomly they were both full price sales. If they had waited the 8 minutes, they would have received a 20% offer from Posher VA, but they did not. So glad to see this one go. These are a pair of women's or girls size 6, so a really hard to sell size. This was back when ThredUp had the outlet, which you had to purchase 20 items in order to get 40% off of the already low outlet prices. They got rid of that a long time ago. I used to score some really awesome stuff. So I would just look for brand new items at the very end to just fill what I had. So I had, let's see, about $3 into these, and they sold for $20. But I've had them since July of 2022. So a long time. All right, the other one from Poshmark I had not put away yet. It was just sitting here in a laundry basket ready to be put away. It was this bra from Brooks. I picked this up at my most recent bins trip, which it has been months now. I thought I would go a lot this summer, but it's just been summer. So anyway, this was a 32 double D, so very specific size, but this sold within a day of listing for $25 on Poshmark. Again, full price, so they paid the $8 whatever in shipping. All right, and then I had all the rest of my sales on eBay. The first one is in box I, again, randomly, the same box I was just in. These were something I was like, I don't know, the right buyer will have to come along, but I have a hard time leaving new tags items at the bins, especially decent brands. This is Soft Surroundings in a size 2X, which was great, but it is floral, but someone like my mom would love to wear these. So I did pick them up. I had about $2 into them, and they sold, let's see, for $25 on eBay. So that was a decent little sale. Okay. Now we're in box D, which is actually right here next to it. But, oh, good. I always try to leave something showing. These are a pair of Spanx pants. They're actually new with tags. They are like black dress pants. I got these from a regular Goodwill for $6. They sold, I would say, within just a couple weeks for $43. All right, this was in box E. Let's see, way down here. Not the best sale, but many months ago, sometime last year, I went to Goodwill. I scored someone's like entire Vineyard Vines collection. Everything was in excellent condition. I ended up keeping several of the pieces for myself, but I wasn't sure which ones I wanted, and you couldn't try on things. There was no fitting room. I don't think our Goodwill's ever brought fitting rooms back. But anyway, I did have a very high cost of goods, $15 a piece for these, and I took an offer of $38 just because I'm trying to be of the mindset, don't look at each item individually, just look at my overall profit. And so that's what I did for this one. All right, this was a fun little sale. I don't often list stuff like this. This is a Baby Gap, like the old school vintage where the sizing you see says extra large. This came out of a ThredUp kids box, and I just listed this because it was vintage, it was cool. Would Once Upon a Child probably have purchased it? Probably, but I don't know. When I find something's interesting and maybe something that someone would specifically be looking for, maybe for family photos, or maybe their older child had this item and you can't buy it in stores anymore. So it sold for $11, which to me, it's still, even after fees and after everything, that is definitely more than I would have gotten from the buy sell trade store. Right, and the last eBay sale, also something I just listed the other day, so it wasn't put away yet. These are 3 mini Bowden sports bras. I got these for my own kid for dance back on Kidizen, so I wasn't able to look up my cost of goods, but knowing me, I didn't have much into them, and they sold for $20, and this is not something that I could have even taken to the buy sell trade store, so to me, that was a win. As I was about to package up all of these items I just pulled, I had another sale come in. I did run a sale on eBay this weekend, and I find if I always have a sale going on, even if it's not on my entire store, it's just on specific items, I tend to make more sales. So Not all, but a lot of these items I had them in a 40% off sale. This little sale came in. You guys know, this is how I got my start again in reselling. If you've been here a while, Mini Melissa's, my youngest Molly, probably had 30 pairs. I was obsessed. I ran a Mini Melissa buy, sell, trade group on Facebook for a while, but these are little bugs. She never had these. These are a size 7, almost new condition. I did have $9 into these from Once Upon a Child, but you guys know I take stuff from the bins or thread up kids boxes and do trades so that I can sell stuff at a higher price. So I really didn't have much into these. They sold for $24.24. So pretty great little sale. Oh, these are just so cute. They smell sweet. If you've never had a daughter wear these, I don't know that they're worth the like $80 full price tag, but both of my girls loved them, even the one that got blisters with everything else. So all right, let's get these things packed up, and if anything else comes in, I'll let you know. All right, I had one more sale come in. I am rushing out to the mailbox before the mailman does my pickup. This is a pair of boys new with the tags, little Nike basketball style shorts. I had $1 into these from a local sale, and they sold for $14 on eBay. All right, and the last sale for the first 2 weeks of July was this pair of Madewell Perfect Vintage jeans. I did pay up at $12 for these because comps were really good, but they've now been listed for over 90 days. So I took an offer for $27. So still making a profit, but happy to see them go. And, you know, I still like Madewell for certain things, but I've just not been having luck with their jeans. All right. See you later. All right, well, that's it. Those were my sales for the first 2 weeks of July. I hope your sales are going okay. If you're listing a lot, I hope they're going fabulous. If you're just chugging along like me, I hope your sales are just kind of rolling in. I will say that I have started, my eBay sales have picked up since I started having a 100% of the time sale running in my store. I do where I select the items and say the percentage off. I will say people still are waiting for me to send an extra offer. So right now I have some of my older items at 40% off or 30% off, and I will still send an additional 5%. And then my brand new items that I have listed, I think I have them at a 12% off because I will still send 5 or 10% as well. So I've noticed that if I have things on sale, that I have way more watchers on items every single day. So just a little tip, something to try. I did end up a year ago buying an eBay store. It kind of works itself out because I do purchase tape once a quarter with my $25 coupon. I do still have to pay a couple dollars. You know, $25, that coupon will not get you anything for 100% free, just FYI. Has it helped my sales over there? I don't know, but it is what it is. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for watching. And I did buy a 50-pound kids box. I did go to a church sale. So I do finally have some things that will be coming out for you. So I hope you're having a wonderful summer. Happy back to school shopping. Ooh, it's getting real. Almost time for our crazy schedule to start again, but I thrive on a routine and I'm almost looking forward to it. Ask me how I feel a month from now, but we'll see. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. Bye.